best crypto asset? Which one's the best crypto asset? Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Which one's the best? 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 What's the second best?
This is Discover Crypto. Every day on this channel, we teach you how to make money in digital assets, and we got a very big show, everybody, so smash that like button, because not only do we have Josh back, we got to talk about a $20,000 Ethereum. Josh, how do you feel about a 20K ETH?
I feel like anything's possible in a world of making money, DZ. That's what I feel like. You know, either way, I know the Discord's been eating. So if we were seeing a 20K ETH, I think everybody's going to be retired and we'll all be on Discover Crypto Show.
Are you getting away from the hair part? I am sorry. I'm just so distracted.
Yes, I got a new haircut. Completely new haircut. Going to grow it out. It's going to take probably 2 or 3 different times. But some dope Arab actually cleaned my head up and said, "You're going to do something new." And I listened to him. And it was the most badass thing ever. He just went crazy. Even threaded my eyebrows, which was scary for me because
it looked like a shag carpet after he was done, everybody. It looked like a 1970s living room. TJ, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Doing good. Happy to be here. Happy to see pumps over the weekend. Arrow crushing it. Loving it when all of our picks are in the green. Altcoins looking great. Bitcoin looking great. Ethereum. You know, I took a couple of those victory lap tweets over the weekend of ETH absolutely crushing it and saying, you know, it feels good to, we've been bull posting it basically this entire time, the entire bear market. And yeah, nice to see it finally getting ready to go.
He's balled down there now, everybody.
I will have to say, I was this close to keeping that Justin Bieber look just because I got so many comments on it. It caused everybody to fight in the comments. And it was just a one-day thing. I was on an airline, left it down, no hairdo. I was this close to keeping it, but no, I couldn't.
He was like Justin Bieber when he hung out with Diddy. All right, everybody, let's look at Bitcoin's price, everybody, because we have now broken out. You can see here, this is Sunday's daily candle, and this is today's daily candle on Bitcoin. Now, when you zoom into the 4-hour, you can see that the TA actually played out. We knocked against the door, knocked for a while, and then Bitcoin just took a nice decisive move to the upside. We're going to talk about some price predictions. We're going to talk about this bull flag pennant playing out. Where does this head? So we're going to talk about all of these things. But first, we do got to talk about the altcoins and Ethereum, and then we'll roll into ETH and Bitcoin and everything else. But Bitcoin is now at 1.1%. ETH is at 1.8%. Keep scrolling. You can see, you know, now Cardano is down. Solana is down. Let me hit refresh here.
Look at that ETH number right now.
ETH is now 4.
Oh, not yet. It's at 23. We're pumping hard on the minute candlestick. I think Bitcoin's almost at 120,500. You got a nice pump right now as this goes live. It's breaking some numbers.
Glorious to see. And what altcoin is the biggest winner from this? We got Pump.Fun crushing it. Kronos is crushing it. And Athena also crushing it. But TJ, we were looking at a different coin. I might have to do some big research into this one. Maybe we got a video coming out tomorrow where I, give me a little time. Let me go into DeFi Llama. Let me look at their Stargate acquisition. Probably one of the main reasons we're seeing a pump here. Looks real ugly when you hit max, but then you hit 24. 23% pump in the last 24 hours for Layer 0. One of the altcoins we've been publicly buying. And so I feel pretty good about this one. So stay tuned tomorrow if you do got a zero bag, everybody. Now, looking at the big losers, though, we have Hash. We're kind of warning you about that one. Tau is down in IP and Trump token. Josh, any reason why Trump token is down?
Shitcoin. No, I mean,
it's not Bitcoin, I guess.
Look, meme coins rotate, and there's actually an inside cabal on the Trump cabal. Like they launched Melania and all these different projects. So I wouldn't be surprised if you saw it rotate through. My prediction was that Pump Fund is going to be the next big runner in meme coins. We actually made a video on it. It's about break even where we talked about it on that video. But the reason for that was this inside meme cabal, very, very close, very, very tight knit, and they just rotate capital. They just wait for liquidation, and they just kind of keep eating all the same retail money, and they just wipe out and wipe out and wipe out. So it's interesting to see that theory kind of playing out now that we're seeing Pump Fund pump and then the rest of the meme coins dump. So is it a rotational of inside cabals? I don't know, but I wouldn't be betting against it.
Is it FaZe Banks just dumping on everybody? We don't know.
FaZe has no banks anymore. He has been the
He's been banished to the shadow realm.
He's been banished for a while.
He has a big stack of NFTs he'll sell at the top, everybody. All right, well, how high will ETH go? That is the question. $20,000 Ethereum. Is a $20,000 Ethereum? What does this breakout look like? And then I'm going to give you my prediction, because I'm not as bullish as 20K, but I'm more bullish than 6K, 7K. That's for sure.
Yeah, definitely triggered the chat, the title. Everybody came in screaming, which we literally, guys, just so that we literally talked about this morning. I said, oh, the optimists will love it and the pessimists will hate it, but there's a pretty good breakdown here of a few different scenarios. So
yeah, we got the scenarios here. So how high will ETH price go after breaking 4K? So ETH is breaking out across multiple bullish setups on the price chart, and analysts see it hitting at 6K with 20K possible within a year, within 12 months. And so ETH has surged roughly 24% this week so far. They hit above 43.30, highest price since 2021, since December 21. Now, the ETHUSD pair has been trading inside a large accumulation range for months, steadily absorbing all the selling pressure. And this phase often ends with a decisive breakout once the buyers gain control. So let's do a little bit of a Wyckoff breakdown, then we'll do the price prediction. So this breakout on the Wyckoff pattern appears to be underway, with ETH pushing above 4,200, the resistance zone, a stage known as the sign of strength. So the SOS right here. So not warning, maybe warning for the bears is all. So in Wyckoff's model, this is typically followed by a brief pullback or last point of support, and this will confirm the new uptrend. Now, they have this pattern right here, and I disagree with it. I am not a fan of this. What do I always say about these patterns, about these wedges? Typically, you like to see it hit both phases. Maybe you could draw this all the way back over here that you could say this is the level, but maybe we'll do the level from right here to the top and then measure this breakout. Now, this breakout is giving you an $8,000 Ethereum. To me, very, very doable, and that gives us a target for the next coming months. Now, historically, these long-term breakouts on ETH high time frames do have multi-month rallies, especially when confirmed by increasing volume and favorable macro sentiment. TJ, Josh, is this now a favorable macro sentiment for ETH?
yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I had no doubt.
Yeah.
The most bullish time in, I think, history. We've been telling everybody for months, all three of us on this channel, like, last chance, get in, get in,
Mhm.
get in, get in, get in. And now it's actually taking place. ETH's almost back towards all-time highs. Bitcoin dominance has kind of hovered around 60%, which we could pull up that chart in a little bit. But the Bitcoin dominance chart is probably the most important. It's hovering right at its last support region.
Yep.
So it is the official start of an alt season, seeing massive upside. And dude, Trump, the administration, printing endless money. You have deregulation. You have crypto being adopted, the 401k last week. It's almost every single day we get a new bullish macro event. Holy smokes, hold on to your portfolios, because you see the gains. See the gains right now.
But don't forget, once you start taking photos of your portfolio, that's when you need to start taking profits. Now, in April 2020 here, ETH broke out of a symmetrical triangle. Then it surged 950%. It may be on track for a run towards 20K within 6 to 8 months if historical price fractals play out. I won't go that bullish, but the previous pump, 2017 pump, that was an 8,000% pump. The April 2020 pump, 950% pump. So I still feel like a breakout could still be within the 300, 400, 500% range here. Let's go into the ETH prices. So this is the breakout on the daily. We've been talking about the ancient dragon resistance that goes all the way to 2021. And the cyan line, yeah, I call it a cyan, not turquoise, is right here at the previous all-time high. And if we, again, zoom in, you can see that the Bulls and the Bears played around with this level. We got rejected, and then it's just been a nice, decisive pump. This is reminding me, this period right here, if we can get to this range right here, this breakout might look similar to this. And we had a nice 25% pump once we broke out. 25% pump from the new all-time high gives us roughly $6,000 Ethereum. But I'm a little bit more bullish than that. I think we need to go a little bit higher. For that, we go to the ETHUSD. Now, recall, they went all the way down here. I'm just going to go from this swing low to the trend line right here. And this gives us DZ price prediction, $7,300 this year.
Nice.
Josh.
So
this year.
This guy here, Vince, in the chat says, I'm not an expert, but I'm not bad at charting. I noticed a long-term inverted head and shoulders with a measured move of about 2,700, bringing us around the $7,000 mark, which is very much in line with what you.
Yeah, we got the head and shoulders. Let me find it right here. So we got our shoulder, we got our head. And
Boom.
then we would have another shoulder. Now this this is roughly this is upward sloping here. We'll just run it from this number. Really, you can make an argument it's even more bullish than this. That would be from this right shoulder. I mean, you're still looking at around $7,000 Ethereum.
Yeah,
So it depends on how you play these lines.
That's about what I'm looking for, and I did see a couple questions about the top of the market, which I'm going to save just so you guys know. We've been doing Q&A at the end of the show each time, so if you have questions, drop them in there. I'll save them and we'll hit them at the end of the show regarding the top of the market. That is going to be the big discussion. We're going to have to decide whether it's October, November, December, Q4. Where is the top and what actions are we going to take? Is it going to keep running? Do we sell altcoins? Do we sell Bitcoin? We will definitely be keeping you updated on this channel. And this is the time, these next few months is the time you really need to be locked in with notifications on and paying attention. We're updating anytime we make moves within our portfolio, we update that within our Discord. I know I did an update on Friday and it paid off very well. A lot of you guys, also in similar projects did very well. So just be locked in for that. I go back and forth every day on, is this time different or is it going to be like the 4-year cycles we've seen in the past? Right now, I'm leaning towards basically just putting a very hard assessment on everything around that November period. And when you're up in good profits, if it's good enough for you within your goals, it's probably, you can probably take some there. I'll probably never sell certain amounts of Bitcoin, but we'll talk about that a little bit later in the show.
Is that DZ Freeman over there? Like, not from Dune. What Freeman are you talking about? We also have, it was a Chainlink. I'll tell you later on. We're going to talk about Chainlink. We're going to do Q&A later. I have my 2.6 Chainlink. I'm a diamond hand to the grave. I'm not even going to give kids access to that one. All right, let's talk about this mysterious institution. Is it you, viewer? Is it you at home watching right now? Smash the like button if you are watching at home right now. There's a mysterious institution buying almost $1 billion worth of ETH this week here. So who is this guy? We don't know. And so they bought 221,000 ETH as ETH rallied 21%. In the past 24 hours alone, in just one 24-hour period, they bought $212 million worth of Ether. And right now they're using 6 different wallets and they're buying from multiple exchanges, suggesting to me this is someone that is sophisticated, maybe an institution, or maybe just a really, really OG BTC whale. Talking to you, Justin's son. There is a large entity taking a lot of ETH in, but that also takes us to this one. ETH treasuries have now climbed to 13 billion as the price is starting to skyrocket here. And so it's 3 million ETH. Right now it's worth $13 billion. We have Bitmine. They're the top of the list here. They're the micro strategy or the strategy of ETH. And they now have 833,000 ETH and they've jumped 400% in their holdings just in the past 30 days. We also got SharpLink. They have a surge of 141% ETH. They now have 345,000. So we're seeing a lot of ETH, and the top entities now have $11 billion worth of ETH. Who do you guys think is, or will there not be, the next accumulation by treasuries in a serious way, not just BNB, like one company does? You think it's XRP?
Yeah, I think it's XRP. I think it's XRP and Solana as well, but there might be a basket of them. But XRP is pretty much next big.
I like the Solana prediction because they could validate it, earn some more Solana. Who do you think, TJ? What's the next altcoin to be added?
Yeah, I mean, I think the majors. Like if you see, I think people I've heard rumors of a Solana based accumulation one. So yeah, I think and has had a lot of ETF filings. I did see Nate Gerasi was talking about, maybe BlackRock's going to come out and do a XRP ETF. And they basically immediately came out and said, nope, no plans for that. So BlackRock isn't going to be doing it. I do think, you'll see it on a couple different things, but in a meaningful way, I don't think we'll see much like in a meaningful way, like what we've seen with Bitcoin and Ethereum when it comes to treasury companies. In my opinion, we might see one or two using it as kind of like a ploy to get their stock price up, but I think mostly what we're going to see when it comes to treasury companies is going to be Bitcoin and ETH.
We need to get someone just to wear like a dark black suit, walk in and give us a pamphlet full of money to pay certain altcoins. I think that'd be the funniest thing. Josh got paid to say that on there. No, I mean with XRP, there's a few different companies that already announced that they're looking to do so. And then there's the SEC that just happened. So I think that's going to be pretty open for the institutions. But back to what TJ said. You have like Kathy Wood and multiple people that have talked about Solana treasuries. You have, you have Charles Hoskinson like 2 days ago with Altcoin Daily saying it's inevitable. You're going to see Cardano treasuries. So maybe it's going to be like a basket that
He
rotates
said
out of it.
Cardano's going to flip ETH.
Yeah.
You know.
That was, yeah. If you guys haven't seen the video over the weekend, is Cardano better than Ethereum? You guys got to let us know right now. But what I wanted to point out was another tweet that I pushed out. I don't even remember what day it was. I was on the flight from Dubai out here, but was how many companies have Bitcoin treasuries? And you see this with Ethereum as well now. But it puts really into perspective the macro bullishness that DZ was just talking about. That there's just a huge supply shock right now. There is way less Bitcoin, even way less Ethereum now, becoming more deflationary as more and more companies start allocating to Bitcoin reserves. This is where I've talked about this a lot in the past, like this institutional run. Is the 4-year cycle kind of dead because it's an institutional focus, no longer retail. And while it might be stair-stepped up, you have this huge macro bullish environment. So whether that upside is a huge blow off top or if it's accumulation over time, what matters is there is less and less crypto becoming available for these retailers because institutions are eating up like nonstop.
Diamond hands too. They're diamond hands. Now, it doesn't get more diamond hands than co-founder of Ethereum, Joe Lubin. I like to call him Joe Lou. Joseph Lubin hinted on CNBC he believes ETH could flip Bitcoin within the next 12 months or so. Let's see what old Joe Lou is having to say here. 19 seconds, folks. This is a short one.
Talk about the flippening, where Ether will eclipse the monetary base size of Bitcoin. Some people that think that'll never happen. Some people think that'll take a few years. I think we may see astonishing things in the next year or so.
Ooh, astonishing things where ETH could potentially flip Bitcoin's market cap. And according to this, $20,000 Ether would get us there. So that'd be about a 5x.
That ain't happening.
Top single?
That ain't
I
happening.
just, I mean, hey, he is, according to a lot of people, way smarter than us. So, is there something we don't see? Is this the real flippening, XRP holders? The real flippening Bitcoin?
I mean, I've heard XRP flipping Ethereum. I've heard Solana flipping Ethereum. I've heard Ethereum flipping Bitcoin. What if his Tether passes it all?
I mean, that's
we got so much bad treasuries we're just dumping. Could be. What do you guys think of Tau BitTensor? It is probably one of the better AI plays as far as safe. There's a lot of AI agent plays and AI platform plays and marketplace plays where your token could lose 80% in 30 days, and you have no idea why it happened. It's because it's a small market cap. It's a high risk play. Tau, probably the lowest risk play. And so, for that reason, I'm a fan.
Yeah, I like Tau. Kelly also from BitLab Academy, one of the bigger, I think that's one of his higher conviction plays. So I like BitTensor Tau pretty well too. And then Near actually is one that I haven't been in for a while, and it seemed, price action seems to be at a decent place when you're looking at the chart, ready for a resurgence, so to speak. I haven't purchased any yet, but we were talking about it in the members Discord about potentially adding back to the Near play for this second, in these next few months at least. So
all right. Now let's talk about Tom Lee. We got Joe Lou and Tom Lee. This crazy MFer actually did it. Tom Lee, the first to hit 1 million ETH. New buys revealed 1.2 ETH, $5 billion worth. In 1 month, he's made it 20% of his way to his goal, 5% of the entire supply. And he did it 12 times faster than Sailor. We are past the moon, headed for the Andromeda Galaxy. Andromeda, also a great Michael Crichton book. Now, 1 million, tons and tons. So Bitmine, SharpLink, Ether Machine, Bit Digital. We're talking about massive amounts of ETH just pulled off of these exchanges. And so now there's just, increasingly less and less places where you can get it. And now here's the game theory reaching final form is AIXBT. 30% is now staked, forming structural supply shock. So more and more is kind of locked up for presumably a long time. 300 billion locked in the ecosystem while exchanges reserves hit multi-year low. So we're getting more locked up. And so now at the same time, simultaneously, exchanges are starting to run out. And also the massive amount in the derivatives market, aka highly, institutionalized trading, signals sophisticated positioning, meaning probably a lot of smarter players, bigger players, and institutions. So TradFi, not just buying anymore, they're learning to play the token game across every vertical. ETH is looks like an increasingly better and better play. Still not entertaining 20K this year, though. That's a little bit too much for me.
8K seems extremely reasonable. I mean, it's on the higher
2K
side.
Not that long ago. Yeah.
So I mean, a double from here, I'd be very happy. You're talking about $1 trillion market cap of ETH. I've a more than 4x to get up where Bitcoin is. It's not gonna. It's Bitcoin. I'll just say right now, Ethereum is not flipping Bitcoin in the next year. Period. Just not.
Do we risk round tripping if we don't sell until 26? Potentially, of course, but I do think for me the big driver is going to be M2 money supply. I'm going to watch that, and I will let you know when I start making some some profits.
Yeah, but yes, you definitely. Do you risk it? Yes. Will it happen? You don't know. But if you wait until summer, fall of 26, there's definitely a risk for that.
Yeah, we're talking like Q1 26.
Yeah.
Hold through an additional summer might be a little bit sketchy. Now let's switch from ETH to Bitcoin. Then we'll switch gears to Bitcoin here. ETH bag holders will rotate back to Bitcoin. According to Samson Mao, now he's a Bitcoin maxi here. And he said they'll switch back to Bitcoin once ETH gets high enough, potentially reversing the 5-week surge in Ether. So most ETH holders have a lot of BTC. They're ICO or they're insiders, and they're rotating that Bitcoin into ETH. Why? To pump it on new narratives, the ETH treasury companies. He said once ETH is high enough, they'll dump it, creating new generational bag holders, and then rotate the gains back into Bitcoin. No one wants ETH in the long run, the Bitcoin maxi said. Now, that's a bold claim. Now, we have an ETH maxi here. He labeled the post as old school Bitcoin maxis, criticizing Ethereum, and said that is a bullish sign for ETH. Old school Bitcoin maxis coping about ETH, actually one of the most bullish things imaginable, so much higher. And this is my take here. When it does happen, it is a very, very short time. I do think ETH holders will rotate into Bitcoin. You typically, have a very short window to make this happen. 49 days in 2021 was a good time to sell your Bitcoin into ETH and then sell that ETH back into Bitcoin. You had 49 days for that strategy. 2018, you had 49 days for that strategy. Are you ready for the warning? Are you ready? We might already be 42 days into this. So we got to make some major moves. We got to make it pretty quickly here. So I don't know if it's going to be, I don't think we reverse we can't hit this in a week. I don't think we hit that in a week, but this rotation might be short-lived, folks. So
yeah,
feel free to take profits.
The other chart I would watch on that's going to be Bitcoin dominance. So there's the two most important charts in crypto are what DZ just showed and Bitcoin dominance. Because if you're looking for entry points on this market, you want to be looking for it when, and I'll have DZ pull up his chart too, and we'll go back and forth between these two real quick, but is going to be the multi-year trend that both of those charts have been. So for Bitcoin dominance, I mean, I'm on the daily time frame right, and it is over 2 years. So November 2022 is when this trend started. You can see here, we're trying to break lower out of this multi-year trend line right now, which is very simple. If you don't know what Bitcoin dominance is, when Bitcoin dominance drops, it usually means altcoins are rising. Altcoins are outperforming Bitcoin. Therefore, the dominance of Bitcoin drops. If Bitcoin dominance rises, it means altcoins are tending to drop. And Bitcoin dominance is actually doing well because Bitcoin's price is rising. So you want to follow these two charts because if you can come up and find major areas of key resistance, we predicted the exact top of Bitcoin dominance by just looking at a multi-year resistance. It's like a 5-year resistance here. And that would have been the start of what potentially could be that alt season. Now, breaking below this, if you start dropping down to 50%, you could start going to 2021 and looking at what happens to altcoins when you get Bitcoin dominance crashing this. And that is where you get this blow off top rotational altcoin value that just absolutely crushes market sectors. If you pull up ETHBTC again, I actually want to see that chart live on the screen here. As Bitcoin dominance drops, you want to start looking for what are key areas of resistance. So like what I would do is I would look for the break of structure there right now, which is about 0.050. Go up a little bit, about there. There's probably going to be some resistance around those ranges. That's actually a perfect
coincides.
right
Yeah,
there.
pretty good.
A lot of confluence at those ranges. So if you're somebody that's like late to this market, so to speak, and you don't know when to enter, and you're waiting for that quote unquote next pullback, I'd be looking for those major key areas of resistance on a multi-year level, which we're looking at right now. And I would wait for that kind of resistance to hit and then look for that next accumulation. And so there are two very important charts that you can use side by side as indications of, okay, maybe I should take some profits, not screenshots. Like DZ mentioned earlier in the stream, take profits, not screenshots. The moment you're screenshotting your portfolio going up 2x, 3x, 4x, 5x, probably should start scraping a little bit off the top. But those are the two charts I would watch closely to make sure that you don't miss out on holding your bags another rotational.
And if you want to find Bitcoin dominance on TradingView, BTC.D, and it will pop up, folks.
All right. .gov will let them track your entire portfolio.
All right, Mr. Ondo, they're calling you John Doe. Give us some alpha, John Doe.
Oh, they want the John Doe alpha. Dude, Ondo, I'm just holding those bags, man. They have a lot of announcements coming up. We're still waiting for the Ondo chain, but what I'm most excited for is going to be Robinhood's launch of their tokenized equities. I think you're going to see a lot of conversations with the two in the room, as Ondo's been kind of a key provider for all tokenized equity stocks. Now, what we're waiting on is going to be the release of the Ondo portal, or the new Ondo equities application, where you could buy and sell and trade pretty much every single S&P token at a tokenized value. And I'm actually super excited for this, because I might actually start trading the S&P 500 over Bitcoin, because it always goes up. It always goes up. So it might be actually even easier for traders that are using perpetuals, or for traders that just follow these markets, are kind of jumping in and out. If you want a lower risk trade, I might be using a lot of these tokenized equities. I'm very excited for it.
All right. Wando would be my name with the last name Valdez. John Doe is Josh. And John Doe, is that why you burn your fingertips all the time? You're always burning your fingertips.
I only had to do it once. But yes.
Well, that was after the incident in downtown Atlanta, right?
Yep.
Where you got that guy in the alley.
No more fingerprints.
No more fingerprints.
No more
folks.
fingerprints.
We did have a little post from Kelly here. The safest degen profit is 30% in a Bitcoin long term, 30% in a stables, 30% in actual pocket. That's only 90%. I don't know where the minus 10% is. And then 10%, that's just having fun with, folks. You go to the casino and you put it all on red.
That's your gambling money. It's all on pump fund. What are you talking about?
It's all on pump fund, or wasted on NFTs like I did in 21. All right, let's talk about the 4-year cycle. You brought up the 4-year cycle. Is the 4-year cycle dead? This person has put succinctly what I was actually talking about last week. And TJ, I know you've heard me talk about this. I'm talking about the miners diminishing percentage, and I felt like no one has been talking about this. No one's been talking about this. I finally found someone talking about it. And of course, he said it, just a lot more intelligently than I could have. Is the 4-year cycle dead? Believers are growing louder. And this is according to analysts and experts here. So crypto markets historically fall into a 4-year bull and bear cycle. Seems to revolve around the Bitcoin halving. However, this pattern could be unraveling. This is why the 4-year cycle is over. So Matt Hogan, he said it's not officially over till we see positive returns to 26, but I think we will. So let's just say this. It is over, said Matt Hogan. But why, though? What's going on here? So we got Pierre Rochard. I've heard about this guy. We talked about his post more than once. He owns, or is the CEO of Bitcoin Bond Company. And he said succinctly what I never could.
Yeah, he's a big-time Bitcoin maxi, too. Yeah.
Huge Bitcoin maxi. He added that the Bitcoin halvings are immaterial to trading float, as 95% has already been mined, and supply comes from buying out OG. So I've talked about their percentage of the entire Bitcoin supply is diminishing. So the goblins go into their cave, they mine Bitcoin for 2 years, and then as the sun rises during the bull market, they come out and they end the bull market. They do some ritualistic chants, thunderstorms start coming, lightning is crashing down, your bags are obliterated, your altcoins are obliterated, and they do it every time. But now they're coming out of their cave. They're coming out of their cocoon and they barely have any Bitcoin. They're trying to do their incantations and we barely get a cloudy sky. And so they're lower. That's how I said it. This is probably a lot smarter to say immaterial to trading float. So
yeah, or another simple way to say it is, if you think about each Bitcoin halving, obviously the amount of Bitcoin halves, that means each one is has half the impact as the previous one. And we've been seeing that each time. So and now, especially with most of these mining companies raising funds from other companies, raising dollars to cover their expenses versus having to sell all their Bitcoin.
And that's only half the equation, because like you said, their amount is cut in half, but the supply grows every time. And so it's almost like double deflation. We have a double deflationary model as far as their effect here, or AKA it is essentially immaterial to trading float. So 95% has been mined. He added that as the market matures, got some other reasons. We have macroeconomic conditions, meaning governments are not stopping the money printing machine. We have institutional capital flows. We've seen Wall Street never have this type of appetite for Bitcoin. And we're seeing regulatory developments, aka Trump in the White House, the pro-Bitcoin president. And we have ETF adoption, meaning your grandma's retirement account can now buy Bitcoin when it couldn't before. And all of these things are very influential. So, here's my take, though. Here's my take. I agree with all this, albeit not as succinctly. That being said, essentially, oh my God, that being Sakid. I was typing this out real quick.
Can't edit it.
For the Muhammad out there, that being Sakid, we get one more bear market drawdown. And this is what I was asking you, TJ. My prediction, 55 to 65% drawdown. I still think we get one heavy move to the downside. And then after that, below 50%.
with Bitcoin.
Bitcoin,
Yeah,
yeah.
with Bitcoin.
Yeah.
I mean, we just fell from 110 to 70.
we're
Like
talking-
that was a high drawdown.
Yeah, so that'd be you're looking at
In the middle of it.
$60,000, $55,000 Bitcoin again.
It depends on where it tops out. That was when he asked me that. That was kind of my answer this morning. Like, so yeah, if we don't go any higher from here.
I mean, look at this drawdown a year less than what are we looking at here? 5 months ago, 6 months ago. This happened 6 months ago. We fell 31%. And we're all like, this is so bullish. So I mean, we could double this drawdown. Like, I think it's possible.
Yeah, I agree. Mahoney or whatever says 200K to 100K extremely. That's basically what I said. If we go up to 200K, I could see us falling back to 100K. If you guys haven't done this before, traditionally, you're going to fall back to previous cycle all-time high, which is around 70K. So that would be, you know, hey, we get to 150, 160, we go back to 70. That would be extremely within the typical structure that we see in these cycles. I do believe we're going to see, and I've been saying this since last cycle, that this cycle will be the end of diminished returns and the beginning of diminished drawdowns. I've been saying this for years and years and years. And which would be, if we hit 200K, that means this cycle is broken diminished returns. We've had higher returns this cycle than we did in the previous cycle. And then if we draw down only 40%, 50%, that would also be the beginning of diminished drawdowns. And I believe both of those things are going to play out. And, you know, the big question, and why we're seeing it in the comments, we're seeing it in the chat, is, and kind of this is what Pierre was talking about, starting to see a lot of Bitcoin maximalists and economists in general talking about the fact that we may not see drawdowns after Q4 this year just because of the scheduled buying and all these different things going on. I want to say, just put a caveat in there. If you guys are new here, this is said every single cycle. Every time we get close to the end of the cycle, voices start getting louder and louder and louder that this time might be different. Last time, the big talk was ETFs are coming. ETFs are coming. And when an ETF gets announced, you know, there's just going to be sustained buying forever. Well, guess what? ETFs came and we still had a pretty big drawdown. Now we're getting a bull run based off of that. And now it's governments buying and nations buying and treasury companies buying. And I still believe that's going to have a long-term, insanely bullish impact on Bitcoin. The dollar is crashing, all of those sorts of things. But just like the previous article said, until we see it change in 2026, we won't know. So if you guys are here, the best thing you can do is make the goals that you have for yourself, understand what you're trying to accomplish. If you're trying to accumulate as much Bitcoin as you possibly can, you may not need to worry about trading in and out of it, just accumulate it. But when it comes to altcoins, there's going to be a reckoning in November. I also agree that a lot of Ethereum holders are going to be rotating that back into Bitcoin. That's probably what I'm going to be doing. I don't think I'm holding Bitcoin. I don't think I'm holding Ethereum through the middle or end of 2026 or any other altcoin. Maybe some Chainlink. Maybe. I'm not sure though. Like, and we'll decide in November. And even I might even still load in some more Bitcoin in November, but I'm going to have some cash on the sidelines just in case we pull back in 2026. There's a lot of other factors to consider. And this is one thing I was talking about in the Discord with some of the members. We talk about the 4-year cycle a lot, but it's important to remember there's other economic cycles that have been around for a very, very long time, not just the Bitcoin cycle. And as we're talking about the 4-year cycle or the having less impact, we still have the long-term debt cycle that matters. We have the short-term debt cycle that matters. We have the election cycle that matters. So there's a lot of different cycles. And I think in the past, a quantitative tightening versus quantitative easing. In the past, alt season cycle lined up perfectly when we were already in a lot of quantitative easing. This time we've been under tightening this entire time. We're getting close to, we've been shifting back towards quantitative easing. I think altcoins are going to completely run. But the timing and I think before they just happened to overlap a little bit better. So when November comes, just be prepared to make some decisions. And that's when the conviction matters. And you have to decide for yourself where your conviction is. There's going to be a lot of loud voices saying this time is different. And there's going to be a lot of probably loud voices saying it's going to be the same, I would think. I can be convinced one way or the other every day, and because of that, most of my altcoin profits are getting rolled back into Bitcoin, most likely sometime in October or November. And then I'm going to adjust from there. Obviously, we'll always keep you guys in the loop as we do it. I just wanted to put that little PSA out there.
And I think that was the key thing you just said there too, is like, even if you're rolling just into Bitcoin profits, guys, and like it still keeps going higher and higher, like you at least de-risk your portfolio and make sure you position yourself to be ready for a bear market or a higher highs. Like even though it won't be as much, again, you just took that profit, you just de-risked the portfolio, and there's always going to be another trade. So the beauty of crypto, 24/7, 365, every market's going to do so. You could now kind of sit back if that is in October or November, and you can at least just kind of have no emotion or anxiety with markets. You can sit back and just watch everything. You remove all that noise.
Well,
So I think it's actually it's a really big benefit. De-risk and move into Bitcoin earlier on in the cycle.
And think about this. The other thing that you have going for you is the only thing, say we do get a continued cycle in 2026 and things do keep going up like you just said. The only thing you've missed is that small opportunity cost. You haven't lost any money. You did bag your profits into Bitcoin, which still went up, and you can always redeploy back into, if we're still seeing alts run in February, March, like, okay, you know, the 4-year cycle is broken. I can deploy back into alts and look to make some more profits. But if you don't and you're wrong, it could have a pretty big impact. So just take that into account. Obviously, everybody has a different size and amount and goals and all those sorts of things. So you have to decide your own risk. But
all right, speaking of risk, we got something happen over the weekend. New CME Gap. We're just putting it on your radar here, Josh. This one's for you, especially. All eyes on the new CME Gap. Hate to be that guy, but we have a large gap that opened up over the weekend between 117 and 119. Ideally, we close this soon. Are you watching this, Josh? What are your thoughts? Any odds on this fills?
Yeah, we made some really good trades over the weekend. Right now, kind of just waiting on the next big move, which we had honestly over last night, but I was passed out from the jet lag. But this is not something you want to mess with. These gaps do tend to fill. And Asian markets pushes up higher over the week. Now, you do have a lot of institutional buys coming out. I think David Bailey's buying like $1 billion worth of Bitcoin tomorrow. That might have an effect on this, but you should always just be wary of the gap. So if you see a lot of oversold indicators, those are great areas to look at. Okay, maybe the price will move here, and that's when I'm going to look to execute that order. But we trade gaps all the time, so it doesn't have to close. It doesn't have to close. We got to remember that. But again, there's something that you want to use as confluence and a possibility.
Also worth noting, there's a pretty significant one on Ethereum as well.
Yeah, ETH has. ETH's got some big ones.
Definitely. Need some advice. 2 months ago, bought ETH 2100, 3.5 coins, 7K turned to 14K. Do I let it ride or what? I think you're totally fine taking some profit for sure. So you got 14K. You could easily cut your exposure to maybe 2 coins or 3 coins and then put that 0.5 or that 1.5 into. You could. It depends on your strategy. If you need more, I need more. I would rotate into strong altcoins. I would maybe look into the DeFi sector. Or if you're like, I'm up a lot and I'm an older person, or, you know, I have some plans to, you know, buy a new car, fix up the house, roll some of that into Bitcoin. I think you'll be fine there. Now, will Bitcoin maybe bleed against ETH a little bit? Sure. But if we reverse, ETH will bleed more against Bitcoin than Bitcoin will bleed against ETH. Also, $10 super chat here. Solana targets 420, 469, 500. And by then, if it goes up to 600, 700, 800, I would probably miss most all of it.
Yeah. And then my response on these kind of things is always November. It's not really
You're the time-based guy.
I'm a time-based person, not a price-based person. So I think all of those targets you just mentioned for Solana are very possible. 500, I'd take it as high as 800. But realistically, regardless of if it's 420, 500, 700, if it's November, I'm probably selling.
All right. They're saying the Solana targets are way too low. I think, yeah, we could go higher because it peaked so early in the cycle. So, yeah, maybe 800, maybe 1,000, but I would have probably rotated by then. We do have a bull flag on Bitcoin here. Bitcoin breaking out of the bull flag here. This is Colin Talks Crypto. So let's do the target. You know, we like doing the target. These are 8-hour candles. You can also see this on the daily. You can also see this on the 4-hour. I think the 8 hours look cleaner to me. And so going from the peak right here, this is the bull flag. I'm not going to run it from here. I think that's a little too optimistic. It looks like this bull flag kind of played out into this one. And going from the bottom, you would measure this from the breakout. And this will give you a potential Bitcoin price target. You make sure that we're on a regular chart, not a log chart. And then you find a target of, drumroll please, $133,000 Bitcoin. And these bull flags have been playing out. So eventually they're not going to. But as of now, the bull flag pennants have been playing out, folks. So I'd be careful sleeping on the bull flags. Very, very consistent this cycle. Just good targets, essentially. One of the other reasons we're seeing massive pumps is there is more adoption. It looks like more and more people are getting a little bit excited about Bitcoin. I think a lot of this is, you know, retail's entrance, maybe first exposure. People put in $1,000, $5,000. Who do you think the majority of these new addresses are coming from, y'all?
I think right now it's still institutions and big money.
It's 300,000
Yeah, I mean, but
a
addresses.
day. I mean, there's not that many institutions. Even if they are doing like 100 wallets a piece, we're talking about in a day.
Okay, in a day, I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Is it retail? Is it bots?
I think it's I don't know. It's a good point. I don't
It is a
know.
good question.
Maybe it is, but it could be a little bit of both.
I think it's a lot of people escaping inflation and just, maybe downloading and maybe
I think
have
it's
a little Bitcoin
200,000
address now.
Crazy. Yeah, it's definitely not all corporations.
Bitcoin isn't as cheap as, say, something if you were to do this on Base or do it on Solana, you do it very, very cheap. You can see them all with like a 0.001 cents. But with Bitcoin, it maybe gets a little bit more expensive. So leaning maybe not bots, or maybe it's AIs secretly accumulating wealth in the background, getting ready for the robot war.
It's aliens.
It's
Yeah.
aliens.
You figured it out.
Illegal aliens? Oh, because of Trump's
Can they
financial
deport
actions.
those wallets? I
Yeah.
don't think so, dude.
It's undocumented wallets.
That's
all right. Let's quote Michael. Look, my last name's Valdez. I'm the son of an immigrant. I got a pass. You may not have a pass, but I got the pass, damn it. And I'm going to say it if I want.
There you go.
Deport them all. Whoa. That Valdez, he's a traitor.
He's
Got an Emmett Till over here, man.
one of us.
I'm going to start having my America First coffee mug. All right, let's Michael Saylor. I love this quote. Love this quote. Inflation is worse than you think, and Bitcoin is better than you know. I think this is about the perfect thing to say to a relative or a colleague that's on the fence.
There is a really important question I have to ask TJ because he's on that November timeline. Does that just coincide with the mysterious object heading towards Earth that's supposed to kill us in November? That why we're
No.
that why we're selling in November?
That's not even on my radar. So yeah.
Okay. There you have it, guys. You heard it here first.
I mean, what do you even do if you think the Earth's ending? I guess you sell everything, just go on vacation, right?
Well, yeah.
I think it's going to be like the end of the movie Up. Or not Up.
I think you live like John McAfee. Not that far.
Get tattoos?
The hammock.
Yeah.
I've said too much. Don't Google that, folks. Do not Google that. Do not Google John McAfee hammock. Do not do it. Some people are going to do it. They're going to come back and they'll be like, I cannot believe I didn't listen to you. But Michael Saylor, speaking of Michael Saylor, the orange Chad here, he has some 2045 predictions. Bear case, $3 million a coin 20 years from now. Base case, $13 million. His bull case, $50 million a Bitcoin.
In 2045,
20 years from now.
20 years, yeah. That's part of why I'm long-term accumulating Bitcoin. I'm not playing the trading game anymore. I do believe it's going well over $1 million. Maybe, I mean, 13, sure, it sounds great. I'll take a $10 million Bitcoin. I think that's very realistic 15 to 20 years from now. So with that in mind, that's where I've picked my number. If you want to have, $100 million or whatever it is, pick your number of Bitcoin you want to get to and divide it by 13, pick the number you want, net worth, divide it by 13 million and try to get that much in Bitcoin. But I'm no longer tracking net worth in dollars anymore. I think you should, and which is actually a pretty good shift in mindset. If you want to, kind of level up your life, don't track your goals in dollars, track them in Bitcoin.
You said 100 million Bitcoin. You know who just accumulated 117 million in Bitcoin?
Who's that?
Harvard.
Oh.
I parked the card. Harvard Yard. Harvard owns more Bitcoin than Google shares now. They now have $117 million of IBIT ETFs and gold ETFs, but no Ether, no Ethereum ETFs.
I'm not
So
surprised.
Harvard more bullish on Bitcoin and gold.
Yeah.
I did just enter an XRP trade, by the way. $300,000 position here. This is probably the most bullish chart I'm looking at on the 1 to 5 minute channel right now. So I will put that in the Discord. I'm just giving everybody a heads up here.
There you go.
Gonna be in the Discord right now. So if you're not in the Discord, make sure you guys join it.
Live viewers, you get it first, folks. Just for a little reference here, Bitcoin, remember I said Trump's the Bitcoin president? So his family, him and his family, $2 billion worth of Bitcoin, over 100K, publicly called on the Fed to cut rates, predicted Bitcoin hits 1 million, taken seats on Bitcoin treasury companies, and stated they want the U.S. to buy Bitcoin, all openly, all in public. And guess what? It was all Barron. Oh, wait, he's not even on this photo. Damn it, they just ruined my punchline there. Where's Barron? How come they regaled Barron to the shadows?
He was too busy, man. He couldn't make the family photo. He was
They're like,
out of
get
town
off
on the
Dex
holidays.
screener and stop trading Solana meme coins here. He's like, I just can't do it. I just can't do it, folks. We do have Eric Adams. I just like the quote here. Remember, y'all laughed at me when I first got my Bitcoin, Who's laughing now? I
Mhm.
think that should be his campaign slogan, or at
Yeah.
least put on some t-shirts. Josh, you're our Eric Adams plug here. You got to get on the Eric Adams campaign. Talk to the right person. Put this on a t-shirt. I will buy it and I will wear it on stream.
Yeah, I'll actually I interview him Wednesday or Thursday. Interview him Thursday this week.
I did
So,
not know that.
yeah, we'll
Really?
be flying up there and doing the. Yeah, we're doing a whole nother event Thursday.
That's
This
totally random. I know
Yeah.
you're Canadian. You're like, yeah, I'm flying up there Thursday to go
yeah,
talk
no,
to him.
I'll ask him Thursday for you. I got you. I got you.
Ask him to clean up the subways. All right. I want to be able to put people in why am I going all full blown?
Whoa,
Whoa, man.
He's
Whoa.
on a roll today, man.
Yeah, he's sitting here standing Daniel Penny.
Yeah, he's like, burn them all. Hunger Games. Actually, you probably saw what Trump did earlier today.
Mhm.
Actually, 22 minutes
Talk
ago.
about Bo Hines? No,
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 22 minutes ago, Trump used
people in the chat.
declared like the 1983 or 1893 Act of the Home Act, where now the National Guard's being called into federal state capital, and it's going to remove all homelessness.
Yeah. They called in the National Guard in DC. He's talking about taking it under federal control. Like I saw a stat. Did you know like murders in Washington DC are more than Bogota, Colombia?
It's very Seth Rich's family.
Wait,
yeah,
what?
I saw
Say
those
that?
stats.
What
I
was
saw
that
those
statistic?
stats.
Murder in Washington DC is worse than Bogota, Colombia.
That's
Seth Rich, he was
Wow.
gunned down in the sidewalks of DC. You know, if you don't know about that, I can't mention it because I've already said his name. So hit the like button. Let's get out of the shadow realm from the Google overlords. But yeah, a lot of crime there.
Yeah.
wow.
But
I don't
yeah,
know how I
everybody
feel
stop what
about
you're
it.
doing right now. If you don't want this show to get canceled by YouTube after everything DZ said today, go ahead and hit that like button. If you're watching on mobile, sometimes you have to X out of the live chat. Hit that like button. You're not going to miss anything. We'll give you 30 seconds to do it, and we'll give us an ad from
And then
our-
Bo Hines
our
talk.
partner here, Arculus. You want to get cold storage, keep that Bitcoin secure. We just wanted to take a quick second to shout out our sponsor, Arculus. They are a cold storage hardware wallet, helps you secure all of your digital assets for the future. Just tap this thing to the back of your phone and boom, you're in. We wouldn't be able to do this without them, but also wouldn't be able to do this without you guys, the Disco fam. You've supported us a lot over the years. If you want to support the channel now, just use the code DC20. It gets you 20% off this card. It's the #1 way you can support this channel going forward. Thank you for your support. We'll see you at the top.
They're going to have to clean the podiums at the congressional staffers. Have you seen what some of them podiums have been put under? You know what I'm talking about. Some of you, TJ knows what I'm talking about. We're going to talk about Bo Hines here, though. Bo Hines has now resigned. So Hines resigns. Here's a statement here. Serving in Trump's administration, working alongside David Sachs as the ED of the White House Crypto Council has been the honor of a lifetime together. We position America as the crypto capital of the world. Deeply grateful to the industry for its unwavering support. I love the community and all we built together as our return to the private sector. This is probably the main reason he's doing it. I look forward to continuing my support for the crypto ecosystem as it thrives here in the United States. Now, he does have a replacement here. And so he was appointed in 24. His replacement, apparently, we're still going off rumors and innuendo here. This is off Eleanor Terrett, friend of the channel here. She said Patrick Witt will likely be appointed to the position. Patrick Witt is fairly, I would say, bullish replacement here. Patrick Witt is going to be the new Pentagon-linked money man, and that's him right there. And I believe, I can't remember if it was Army, maybe it was Navy. It was a college quarterback for a military college there. So probably a tough guy. And so, we're not going to go the whole deep dive here, but I would expect just a lot more friendly attitude. But replacing Bo Hines with Patrick Witt, probably not changing too much. At the end of the day. It's a Bitcoin maxi with another Bitcoin
could be
maxi.
brother. Yeah. And he's the #2 guy. This is just a layup here. And shout out to Bo Hines. He's now a billionaire. I think he's going to raise more money than ever at the private sector for what he's done and is, few weeks under council there. Got market structure bill, higher stablecoin act. You got everything being progressed for crypto. There's no way he doesn't get picked up or is already picked up. That's what's.
Yeah, I saw somebody in the chat just says he's going to be joining Chainlink soon. That wouldn't surprise me, or being on the board of a Bitcoin treasury company wouldn't surprise me. But I like that Chainlink pick. That might be
Imagine
that would be really
I'd
interesting.
Up the price like crazy.
Well, yeah, and they're going live in November. Chainlink is very bullish to me. Chain gang in the house. That's right.
Let's see. People talking about bad altcoin season. Just haven't seen it yet. That'd be my
Yeah,
prediction
it's
here.
just starting.
Most people, this is pretty big news for America, at least. Most people don't realize how massive this announcement is. 15%. What's the news here? Breaking. Nvidia and AMD have agreed to give the U.S. 15% of their revenue, not profit, from chip sales to China, as being seen as an unusual agreement for basically trying to get an export license for these chips. This is going to be a lot of money. Some are saying the trade war has entered a new era. I don't know if we know the complete ramifications for this, but when it comes to defensive minded sectors, I mean, I think AI chips, you do got to have that same conversation with national defense. I mean, you got to disincentivize it somewhat. We do give them the older chips. I'm still not sure what I feel about this. I don't know if you guys had any thoughts.
I think it's the interesting takeaway I saw there was the fact that they've graduated from doing trade deals with nations, and now they're going company by company. They did a deal with Apple. They're doing a deal with Nvidia. I guarantee they've got stuff with SpaceX and Tesla, AMD. And I think this is a pretty well architected strategy that is going to work. Actually, I saw this and was pretty bullish as far as the U.S. economy goes. 15% of revenue is a lot. And it's revenue of sales to another nation. So it's like, yeah, go ahead and operate there all you want. You just got to pay the piper if you want to do it. A lot of these things are going to have short-term impact, which is part of why we could see some more stimulation going into 2026. I got a question here from one of the members for 21 months. Is it possible that retail isn't coming this cycle? I feel like it's just institutions and most people are missing out. I agree. It is institutions and most people are missing out. What happens, generally speaking, is retail comes near all-time highs, unfortunately. Yep. So now that Ethereum is going into price discovery, I think retail is starting to come back. They're all going to pile into altcoins, and it usually happens near a top. And then we also have this guy, another super chat. You think Ben Cowan is right about the bull market ending this year? We talked about will it end in kind of in detail. I kind of gave my thesis. And yeah, right now he's right. He will be right unless something changes in 2026, and then he's not. But I think as of right now, yes, his advice is perfectly on par. It's very consistent with what I was just saying of there's a lot of signs that say it should be ending October, November, sometime Q4 this year. And if you adjust your risk around that time and you decide to reallocate into 2026 because this time it is actually different, there's nothing stopping you from doing that. And you're only missing out on a few months of opportunity cost versus what could happen if you hold your altcoins, especially through 2026 and get wrecked. Like he gives really good advice. He's got data to back it up. I wouldn't not consider it. You're just going to have to make your own choices at that time when that time comes. And I'm
still leaning on the M2 money supply. I think if M2 just continues to pump into Q1 26 and it's on a 100-day delay lag, I don't see us topping in 2025. But we don't know if that's going to happen yet. We don't know what these governments are going to do when it comes to money printing. So at the end of the road, yeah, eventually they're just going to keep printing and printing and printing. Exactly. But I mean, by a quarter by quarter basis.
Yeah, we don't know in the short term. In the long term, yes, they always print. In the short term, they have a lot of tools, levers they can pull on to manipulate things.
All right. Now, are we going to get a recession? How are things heading into the last half of 2025? Well, corporations are no longer fearing recession. I just want to throw this under your radar here. They went from mentioning it, the S&P 500. They have earnings calls every quarter, and they went from 125 of the 500 mentioning a recession to now under 25. So a lot more corporations, they can't lie in this, or at least they can't get caught lying because that violates their fiduciary responsibilities. And so they are betting that we're not going to see a recession increasingly here.
Yeah, well, they know same thing we do. We're printing trillions of dollars, and we're talking about 2 or 3 more $1 trillion spending bills. As long as we're printing trillions of dollars, there's not going to be a recession. We're just going to have insane inflation that they're just going to hide. So just buckle up.
All right, you ready to talk a little altcoins here? I don't know what you got on your radar. 200 million ADA was bought by the whales this weekend. Maybe something's getting ready because that's a lot higher than you typically see. You would typically see in the tens of millions. So nice surge in whale buying activity. Chainlink, I know the Link Marines are happy out there. I am very happy with my 2.3 Chainlink that I diamond hand forever. And so New York Stock Exchange parent company ICE not the ICE I was referencing in regards to the Rio Grande River. No, different ICE. ICE is the Intercontinental Exchange. So Chainlink has partnered with ICE to bring foreign exchange and precious metal data on chain. According to Chainlink, remember, I got 1.9 that I'm holding forever. These feeds support over 2,000 dApps and major financial institutions to provide market information necessary to operate in tokenized environments. And so Chainlink just has another feather in its quill, partnering with the New York Stock Exchange parent company, increasing the odds that when there is, some grand exodus, everything's tokenized, Chainlink's going to be in the center of that. They're going to be in the nexus of that. And your Chainlink is going to be $50, then $100. And eventually, I could see a world where it's $500, $1,000, maybe this decade.
Mm-hmm.
This decade, not this cycle.
Okay, this decade. So 5 years? 5 years?
Yeah, I can see a next cycle being a $500 Chainlink, especially if that might be one that also, to TJ's point, might have one of the better bear markets, because I think a lot of institutions are going to diamond hand this.
Especially if they integrate the fees and everything. Yeah, I mean, it's a fan favorite. I mean, my price predictions are much more conservative, but we have been crushing it. Calls, and Chainlink is got 2.5. Look, you might be retiring.
It's 1.6
there.
I got 1.6.
It's going down by the show. What are you selling on us right
Yeah,
now?
were you
I've had
selling
the whole
on us
time.
live? What was that?
Guys, that's what I've had the whole time. I honestly don't know what you
just
guys
got everybody to
talking
buy it. You sold half your portfolio on us.
Yeah.
Sell now. Buy black. That's right. DZ bought black today. I bought more black. People assume a flywheel takes off right away. You don't go back. But it takes time for a supply to accumulate amongst believers. This is just kind of talking about price action. They're saying black is looking a lot like the early days of Aerodrome, where you have the early entrants, basically take a lot of profits, you get a strong pullback, and then another pump, kind of in the middle of the Aerodrome pump right now. I was like, before I buy some, is the thesis still intact? And the thesis is it's the strongest DeFi play on Avalanche.
Yeah.
Go to DeFi Llama, you go to an Avalanche, and you go down, you'll see it number 3 by TVL. Oh, I thought you said it's number 1, though. Well, it is by fees and revenue. Look how much is pulling in. It pulled in $147,000 in revenue in a 24-hour period. Look at its peers. No one even cracked 20K. And so the thesis is still there. So I doubled down and I bought even more.
Well, the other thing I was going to mention too is you were comparing it to Aerodrome. Just for people that don't realize, Black Hole is a copy and paste of Aerodrome. It's the exact same model that, very, 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 very minor tweaks to it, but basically just with the VE Black, but basically a copy and paste of Aerodrome on Base, Black Hole on Avalanche. The fees we've been earning and generating in our Discord, Crypto DeFi airdrops talks about it a lot. We've been crushing it with full range pools. It's nice with those because price goes up and down. It doesn't really matter. We're still generating our fees and making good money with it. So we're loving that. It's going to be extreme. You're basically betting on the main ecosystem play in Avalanche. So if you believe in Avalanche, this is kind of the secondary play to it. We've done very well with Aerodrome. I believe in this one as well. When the only thing beating it in TVL was Aave, which is a lending borrowing protocol, so that makes sense. It's not a DEX. So, but when it comes to DEXs, there's a lot of liquidity on there for Avalanche and plenty of fees to be made. And it is being supported by the Avalanche Foundation, which again, kind of like the thesis of Aerodrome's getting supported by Coinbase, Black Hole's getting supported by Avalanche. It's working out.
$10 super chat. Price prediction 2 months from now, 3 months from now. I got it. I got you. I would pay attention to this trend line right here. And if we look, this right here would be November. This one right here would be October. So you're looking around a $40 to $45 Avalanche. Once we break out of that, that's when we're in like a, not quite price discovery, but that's when we're in a breakout. And that's when we could start talking about, maybe matching some of these previous all-time highs. We did have another super chat here. ICP. I haven't thought about ICP in a while. We have sold our ICP. Yeah. If you like canister technology, canisters, ICP has canisters, everybody.
IC4.
Don't worry about that. I feel like this one, is just a little bit more of a sharp decline. Yeah, that you can just tell that's an uglier chart. That is
it's not a good chart. Not a good chart. Not a good chart at all.
Maybe
the canisters
you
didn't
buck
work
up against this, $8-9. $8-9.
Yeah. What's Polkadot chart look like? I'm actually curious to see Polkadot.
Dot's a weird one because Gavin is like a beast when it comes to coding and stuff. I was going to go for a spot, but we'll just use the Binance Tether trading pair. Should have a lot of price history. It kind of has these nice little falling wedge breakouts. This one hasn't really came to fruition. So maybe you could say this is the falling wedge. I mean,
Mhm.
again, I hate to sound like a broken record, but I mean, keep an eye out on the peaks there.
Yeah, those are what I do. Same thing with ICP. Same thing with any project that you guys haven't seen perform yet. Just wait for those recent peaks because they just. I mean, until you break out, you shouldn't be looking for other targets. I mean, I think it's hopium at that point. It's like just look at what are those levels you could potentially get out and rotate into better assets. And this is just going to happen naturally as the markets expand. Polkadot's the reason why I wanted to bring it up was a perfect example. They had the parachain slot auction that completely, utterly failed. And so, it's not that Polkadot's necessarily a dead chain. It just there's going to be other projects out there that are launching that have better performance. I mean, look at Sui, for example. Sui's absolutely crushed at this market. You have Aptos. You have actually, you want to pull up one more? I'll pull it up on this chart right here. Optimism, OP. This one is where base is kind of built on top of a little bit more volatile. So there might be a little bit more opportunity to accumulate on this end. Let's see if it jumps out here. But has better performance through like historical measures. So like if you're looking for ones that are oversold here, it's like look for the newer plays that might have a little bit more opportunity, still have some VC capital that's going to definitely allocate it to marketing budgets and push it a little higher. But just take that in a realization. Or, consider that maybe it doesn't go back to that all-time high as other altcoins just start to perform better. So just be risk adverse. Like for people that are holding ICP, I don't think it's going to go back to $100. I know that's like a target a lot of people see on TikTok. I just saw a video on it. They're like $100 ICP. This is super undervalued. And I'm over here like, okay, well, we are well into an alt season. Some people don't think this has been a good alt season, but there's been a lot of opportunity. So just make sure you're also looking for other opportunities so you don't miss out on these entire moves.
We talk about that a lot when it comes to altcoins. You need to be in the meta, so to speak. Think about if you play video games, think about a video game, just like the winners and losers in the meta, what's OP shifts. Same thing happens in crypto. ICP is far outside of the meta and has been for a long time. So I would not spend too much time on that. We did get a super chat here, TA, on GRT if it can recover.
I got that.
So while you're
right here,
you've already got it pulled up, and then then we've got a few more questions to hit Q&A from earlier in the show that I was saving. But if you guys have any more, hit them with them now. What happened with Sonic? Sonic's still doing its thing. It's DeFi related. It's more of a test bed when it comes to DeFi. So I've still got some Sonic pools running, but the spot price I think has been down considerably. But that's one of those ones that moves violently when it does. So I would stay tuned for late in the cycle. But let's look at GRT.
Arrow prediction right after the graph prediction here. So going to graph, if you go to DeFi Llama, you can see it's not. There's a big period where it looks like it does something bi-weekly here, but then it started to pick up. So we're starting to see a little bit more on the fees. Graph chart looks like doo-doo. I would, this one doesn't look that great. And I think this is the market cap here. That's the price. That's the market cap. I feel like it falls under the Polygon curse where most of the tokens are gone. And now we don't have billionaire VC funds kind of propping up the token with market makers and maybe, creating some bullish news articles, etc. And so it really needs a lot of adoption. It is my understanding. It's almost like a Chainlink in reverse. Chainlink takes data off chain, puts it on chain. Graph's initial value prop was Google indexing and is the Google of blockchain. Basically, it would take stuff on chain, take it off chain. I think Chainlink is starting to maybe explore some of those technical capabilities. I'm not a developer. It's just kind of what I remember hearing. So maybe something to keep in your radar there. So
the other one I saw that doing really well, we all called the bottom on was Kita. Eric Schmidt, ex-founder of
crushing
Google
it with Kita.
Yeah,
crushing it.
Kita's been a beautiful play since we fell back here, looking for that target entry. Absolutely perfect.
Wait, aligning yourself with Google founder worked out?
You're like, who's betting against Eric Schmidt, dude? It's like to be CEO of Google and you can't run an altcoin project. Yeah, that's not that. Those two things don't fit in a sentence.
And it's a base
easy
play.
bet, dude.
It's another base ecosystem play, and we've basically almost all of our best winners for the most part have been base ecosystem plays.
Aerodrome's been
Zora still crushing it.
Zora's.
I'm so pissed I didn't buy more.
Zora was Jesse Pollock, right?
Yeah, that's
like another one that you're just like, why not bet against that? Or why bet against that?
Yeah.
What do you got for Arrow?
Aerodrome, like price prediction?
Yeah. Somebody was
dude, I'm biased. We bought, do you guys remember this? We bought the day of the bottom at 30 cents live on Disc. You guys can literally go back to that live stream. But Aerodrome, I still think it's like $3-4 easy this cycle. Just because, think about it this way. It really depends on how fast they can implement, but you're going to soon be able to buy any single base ecosystem token directly from Coinbase. And Coinbase has the entire green light and regulatory authority by the United States administration. So if I'm like betting on an ecosystem that's going to be very accessible to retail in a very legal way, Base is at the front line of that. So I'd say as soon as that kicks in, I'm going to be interested in seeing how much value is created through both the coin stock and the Base ecosystem itself.
Yeah, I mean that's what they announced. They announced that Friday. That's what pushed the pump up on Friday afternoon. Coinbase basically came out and made that tweet. And they did say Solana, they're going to be adding Solana as well. So that's another reason to look at. I've been heavy Jupiter and Radium. I'm still holding those positions for that same reason. And if you look just for perspective, Arrow will become the new Uni or Uniswap. $25 Arrow if it had the market cap of Uniswap. Yeah. So if they're able to accomplish what Uniswap has, obviously that's the exceptionally bullish number. I think $10 is reasonable. But yeah, easy 2 to 5x from here. So
ADA price prediction, can it hit its
insane.
previous all-time high?
Wow.
Yes, it will go to $3. I actually think my target is still $5 to $7, and so that's my prediction there. We also have a timing question on Ondo, not if, not where, but how or when. When will it break out and hit a new all-time high? Well, this is kind of, using this here. Yeah, you got it there. I would say let's just kind of draw the line and assume it's going to kind of match what we're doing here. So we go like this, we go like this, and we go like, all right. So that's going to be, now this is very dubious. Obviously, this is very dubious. It looks like October.
Okay.
October, November.
October. And that kind of coincides with the launch of their. It really depends on the launch of their app, guys, and Ondo chain. But Ondo, I can't say it's a blue chip yet because it's still very early. It's a lower market cap, but I think it has one of the highest potential RRs out of any single platform.
It's a bullish megaphone
if Ondo
pattern.
turns on, you have all the connections between every single institution. BNY Mellon, they pulled everybody into the first ever tokenization event. They hosted the ball for Donald Trump. Like they're primed, and so like it will be a valve. And I think if that thing turns on, and you start seeing like huge retail performance on their new app that they're going to be launching, it has like Robinhood sitting at $104 billion. I don't think it's going to compete with that right off the rip. But if you're talking 25, 30 billion, some people saying 50 billion targets, if what they're trying to do is accomplished and does work, I'm not saying that's out of the picture. If I'm looking at TA, $3 to $4. Like that's simple. The TA is $3 to $4 based off historical performance. But if you're starting to project what's going to come and assume what's going to come out of the launch of the new applications with the equities, that could be much larger. That could be much
$17. I mean, even the bull case here, this $3 to $4 target on my screen, this is exactly if it hits this yellow line. That's Josh's prediction. This, I think, would be about as bullish as you could expect. That's like $6, $7, a little bit away from a $17 Ondo there. But hey, we're still pretty bullish on it. This question I love. What's more likely? $20 XRP, $20,000 ETH.
$20,000 ETH.
I agree. $20,000 ETH. You're 20K XRP or $20
XRP. Yeah,
you're the XRP guy.
I mean, dude, Ethereum at 20K? That's 4x.
That's when it hits Bitcoin's market cap today. So
I just don't think either are happening. But I think, wow, man, that's a hard one. That's actually a really good question. Shout out to chat for that one. I don't know. I think that's a pretty close battle. 20K Ethereum, $20 XRP. What do you think? 20K Ethereum, $20 XRP. I'm not trying to be that guy. I'm just saying XRP's already at. I think it's about just as likely for both.
I was going to say both of them are not that likely in the short term. Let's put that caveat on there.
Neither, 100%.
Neither one likely in the short term. We said at the top of the show, I don't see 20,000 XRP happening anytime soon. I mean, that would be, $20,000 Ethereum. Definitely not a $20,000 XRP.
I don't think either. Yeah. I'm with you on that.
But you're talking about
that hypothetical.
Basically a 4x on Ethereum or 6x on on XRP, 6 and change, 6 to 7. So
like reverse the question too. Like if Ethereum's at 20K, what would XRP be?
I mean, pretty close to $20,
exactly, right?
probably.
Like
that's
definitely over 10. Yeah, 10, 15. Yeah. So,
good question.
All right, 4-year cycle doesn't break till we pass November. Like we said, we kind of did a whole thing on that. Q1, if I had a gun to my head and I had to choose right now, what do we feel about SPX 6900? Pretty strong community. I would only consolidate your meme coins into like 1, 2, maybe 3 bags if you want like 3 different chains. Just feel free to take profit and take profit heavily into Bitcoin or stable coins with those. Near an XLM. Similar, a little bit competing. Nears, L1 with a little AI focus, XLM, L1 with kind of RWA focus.
I like XLM.
I like Near.
Yeah, I like them both. Neither one are like my favorites. Like you guys know, I lean towards DeFi, but I like Near and XLM for this part of the cycle. XLM kind of rides on a lot of that political capital that Ripple has created. And it does fit the RWA niche that seems to be very prevalent this cycle. So,
right. And how many link to be financially free? I think $100. You know, if you have 10,000 of them, that's when you're sitting on $1 million. I don't even know if you can be financially free with $1 million if you live very frugally.
That might be a good video. Like, dude, just break out the math and kind of do some calculations.
There is a little bit of staking rewards. You got to have like a lot of Chainlink, and there's a lot of hoops to jump through. So yeah, it might be a little video
if you have
there.
10,000 Chainlink though, you're off to a great start. That's already 200K. So that's a 5x for $1 million, which $1 million doesn't even retire anybody nowadays. That's like,
it used to be such a large amount to me in the 90s.
In California, you can afford a house 50 minutes inland in California now for $1 million.
I mean, I look at my 1.3 Chainlink and I'm like, can you get me there? You know, I don't have the answer.
But I do think that would be a good video, DZ, for you to look at like how many link tokens get you X, or how many arrow will get you here, doing some of that. I think people like that type of math. So let's look into that.
All right. Well, folks, that is our show for today. Thanks for getting those questions in. Smash the like button. If you made it this far, you're definitely one of the real OGs. Josh, you got a drink with you? You got some?
I got the yerba mate I haven't had in like 2 weeks. But what's more important is we're up now almost $2,000 in this trade that we put in the Discord. So if you guys want to come watch
trade here,
this Discord trade, we're gonna be live in Discord right after this, guys. Come join.